it's Leo, and it's time to talk about the amazing episode 20 from Delicious Party PreCure. What an episode this was. I was super excited. It was focused on Kokone, which is my favorite from this season, at least so far. Will Amane snatch the crown from Kokone? I don't know, but I also really like Amane. I'm really enjoying her. I feel like she is also a very interesting character. Both of them in an episode together, made for them. Honey, it was clearly made for someone like me, so I was super excited. Before we talk about the episode, we had two minor updates. One of them in the introduction of the episode. Now the girls join Yui. I don't know if this is going to be a constant thing or Yui is going to keep on introducing the episode by herself. I don't know. And we also have an update on the opening when the cook fighters appear. And Cinnamon is now appearing clearly behind them, not only his silhouette as we've seen before. So very nice. We saw the hoodie version of Shinada Monpei, and now we can see Cinnamon clearly there. But let's talk about the episode. First thing I want to say isn't really about the episode itself, more about the Kokone and Amane ship. Because girl, after this episode, look, they're made perfectly for each other. And, you know, with ships, you usually join the two names, right? So if we join Kokone and Amane, we get Kokone. But if we want Amane's name to come first and we join it, it becomes Amane. This is a sign from the heavens. This is made in heaven. This is meant to be. Kokone and Amane. Kokone, Amane. It's meant to be. They are meant for each other. Okay? This is my point. This is my argument. And I am already standing them so hard. But let's talk about the episode. First, the scenario of this episode is that Kokone invites the girls. Kokone asks her parents, and she invites the girls over to her restaurant. When that happens, there is a very funny scene because the girls keep on talking about food. And Amane is a new person in the group. Amane doesn't really know the girls that much. She trusts them because they helped her, but she doesn't know them very well. She is getting to know them now. And it was very funny seeing both Yui and Ran talk about food like crazy. And Amane was like, what have I gotten myself into? What am I doing with those crazy girls? And Kokone was smiling. Like, for Kokone, that's normal already. But for Amane, it's not. And obviously, Amane got worried because, you know, in a high-class restaurant like that, you need to have manners in the table. So she studied that a lot and she started teaching the girls. It was very funny. We had a very lovely scene with the girls trying to learn manners with the help of the energy fairies. That was so cute. And the little signs on their hands. Girl, that was so adorable. But that did not work out. I mean, that did work out because they learned manners, but they thought manners was very boring. And it was like taking away from the experience of going into the restaurant. And so Mari decides to take them into a renting store so they could rent costumes. And at that point, I found the scene very uplifting and very fun to watch. I really loved watching Dan dress as a panda. It was so cute. And Dan really wanted to go as a panda. She really, she was serious about that. Dan, I love how crazy you can get. And Amane was like, girl, you can't wear that to a class restaurant, high class restaurant. You can't wear that to any restaurant, girl. How are you gonna eat in that? But Amane was thinking of the way of portraying yourself in the restaurant. And Kokone came with the idea, yeah, she can't wear that, but not because of the type of costume, because she won't be able to eat very nicely. She won't be able to enjoy a meal. And we have the shifting tone in the conversation. We have a big shift of tone because first she was Amane was teaching manners to the girls, because manners are important because of society and how you have to portray yourself in certain environments. But Kokone brought another way of looking into manners. You have manners in a restaurant because you are thinking about the other person. You don't want to disrupt someone else's experience in the restaurant. And that way of looking into manners was how Yui got to think. Manners, deep down, are basically Gohan wa ego. Food is smiles. So that's basically the motto for Yui. We know that that's the motto for Delicious Party, and she was able to connect that with the manners that she wasn't really enjoying before. And so the girls really got together and understood the need for manners. And there was another thing that I found very nice in that scene, which was Ran wanted to be dressed as a panda, and Kokone found panda accessories for her. You know, Kokone was really thinking of this experience for the girls, and also for Amane, because she was the one who got Amane a dress, and she was the one who chose a dress for Amane. And Mari got so many costumes. I really wanted to see Mari trying out different costumes. Mari got costumes for the energy fairies as well, but Mari had a trick up their sleeve, so that's why they got so many costumes, probably, I don't know. But I really wanted to see like Mari trying out lots of different and very posh costumes, because Mari is what? Amazing. And so we get to a point in the episode where Kokone and Amane are by themselves and they're talking, they're sharing their experience in that day. And Amane thanks Kokone for bringing that new point of view. And Amane is very stiff when teaching things. Like, she tries to follow the rules perfectly, and she tries to enforce the rules. That's why she is student council president. And while Kokone has more or less the same train of thought, she brought a new look into manners, which comes from her parents. That is something that her parents taught her. And before that, we had an information that we would not see Kokone's parents in this episode because they were traveling, they're always very busy and everything. And at that moment, Kokone is able to open up a little bit and say, well, they're traveling, so they're not going to be here as they always are. So they're always not around. They're never around. So they're always traveling. They're always doing something else, and they're not there for Kokone. And we could see her eyes were shaking a little bit. So you could say that Kokone was sad with that. But Amane told that vision from Kokone's parents brought something new to her. And so she could see the influence of her parents in Kokone herself. And that was something Kokone did not notice before. Kokone was noticing that right at that moment. And Kokone was so happy because it's one thing when you live with your parents and you don't exactly live with them. You know, you have your parents, but they're never around. So you might not be able to look at the good things that they bring you, that they brought you, and the lessons and the bonds between you. And I'm pretty sure that Kokone's parents, they have a good reason to not be around. I don't think they're like completely bad parents that they're negligencing their child. They're probably doing this and also thinking about her while doing this, even though it's important. The physical presence and emotional presence is also important. But Kokone did not think that she had something from her parents in her, and now she does because of because of something that Amane said. And at that scene, Amane was the one who wanted to thank Kokone, but now Kokone also wanted to thank Amane because both of them learned a valuable lesson with each other. And so they were able to form this bond, form this strong connection of gratitude towards each other. And the way they looked at each other, the way they smiled to each other, it was so pure, it was so beautiful. I ate every single moment of that. Oh my God, what a beautiful relationship. What an amazing, amazing moment. And then we get to the restaurant scene, and Narcissus attacks, and we get to the fighting scene. The fighting scene is the only thing I did not like in this episode, even though we had some funny moments. We had like the girls trying to make their attacks work, but nothing was working in the monster. Narcissus was very shady, I feel like. He was very ironic or maybe sarcastic when he was greeting them at the start, even though he wanted to beat their ass. So he was bringing manners, and we'll talk about the villains a little later on. But let's focus on Kokone and Amane. So the fighting scene was awful because we had all of the minor attacks being shown again with the stock footage, and we did not have much action outside of stock footage. Even Black Pepper joined, but nothing special came from it. But the worst thing for me was we had Black Pepper, Precious, and Yum Yum fighting, and Spicy and Finale talking, and one sharing with the other how important it was, that moment that they had together earlier on that day, on the day before actually, right? And how impactful it was for Spicy to be able to see something from her parents in her, because she hasn't noticed that before. So she was thankful. Finale was thankful. Both of them were very thankful. They both shared that gratitude towards each other. And so they looked in front of them, they saw the monster, and they were ready to fight that monster. I was like, oh my God, here it comes. They're gonna kick together, they're gonna punch together, they're gonna do something nice together. But they did not. Spicy just used her minor attack. It pressed the energy of the monster, and Finale was able to destroy it with her attack. Like, really. I'm so sad because it was such a build up for it that could culminate in both of them doing something together against them. Even if it was just a punch, even if it was just a kick, I would feel like we would have a little closure for that moment, but we did not. But right now, Finale is very curious about Black Pepper. Like, she is really curious about him, but she doesn't really know who he is. I mean, no one knows who he is, but she seems very curious. She seems more curious than the other girls. I mean, the other girls don't really care anymore, or it doesn't come up in their conversations, but Finale seems curious enough. And so we get to the last scene of the episode, which for me was the best. So we see the girls enjoying the food and Kokone eating bread. Girl, your food theme, I love it. And, they were just there eating. It's delicious. It's amazing. And we see Amane's brothers. Mari invited them. We see Takumi. Mari invited Takumi as well. And Takumi's so annoying. Takumi is so annoying. And it feels very real because sometimes when you're in love with someone, especially when you're young and you don't know how to deal with that, you end up being a little rude. You end up being, you don't know how to convey a regular conversation with that person. So it feels real with Takumi, because it just feels like that. And that's very annoying. And then we get to the last scene, which is the dance, because a girl says, oh my God, they look like princesses. And it was so cute, but them waving to the girl, it was so adorable. And Mari was like, so let's make it a fairy tale. Let's dance like they do in fairy tales. And we had like cute moments, Mari dancing with Yui, and they're all having fun, they're all dancing. Mari got Yui and Takumi together. And we see Kokone with her brothers as well. And then we see Amane with her brothers, not Kokone. And then we see Kokone and Amane. They are a little apart and they start dancing around each other. And they, start dancing together. My eyes were full of tears in that moment. What a beautiful moment that was. My jaw dropped to the ground. Wow, that was so good. That is, for me, the best scene of Delicious Party PreCure so far. What a scene that was. The way they were a little startled when they started dancing together, but then they smiled What? That for me is, oh my god. Look, I love them together. Spicy parfait, my favorite dessert ever. I love this. I'm living for spicy parfait. Anyways, let's just talk a little bit about the villains now. We have a scene of Narcissus and Secreturu. And Secreturu is so tired of Narcissus. Narcissus cannot do anything. He just does not bring results, and nothing is working for him. There is one interesting thing about this, which is Secreturu so far hasn't shown much emotion. Now, when she thinks about Narcissus, she gets so angry that she shows emotion, and she is tired, she is pissed off, she cannot deal with him anymore. And she even tricks him by saying Godats is there. I loved that, Narcissus. You were fooled, my man. Secreturu got you. And at the end, they could not do the Banduru chant. They could not. I mean, they did, but it was not synchronized. I feel like the vibe of the Banduru gang is falling off. Something big needs to happen to the Banduru gang for this vibe to get back, because we're not even halfway through the series and we need the villains until the end. So what is going to happen? Is Cinnamon going to join them? Are they going to bring someone else? Are they going to brainwash someone else? What are they going to do? I am curious. Anyways, this episode for me was everything. I loved it. It was amazing. Kokone, Amane, you are gorgeous. And when I say Kokone now, I don't even know if I'm saying Kokone as Kokone or Kokone as Kokone and Amane, like the ship. Amane the same, okay? Just interpret it with your mind, because I am on the spicy parfait train. Okay, choo choo. Anyways, babes, this was my view on this amazing episode. What did you think? Did you enjoy it? Please leave a comment. Let's keep talking about this gorgeous, lovely episode. And I want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you are a member, thank you very much for your support. And if you've watched up the channel, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.